So yesterday was a super productive day. I was able to get some cardboard laid out for where I want some of the gardens to be. I haven't been able to get all the cardboard laid out because I ran out of garden staples, but more are coming in the mail soon and I'll be able to map out more of my gardens. I have the garden beds hugging the fence line all the way around, or at least that's in the plan. So this corner is going to be my biggest obstacle. It's pretty much overgrown with blackberry briars, and they're not thornless like the blackberries I had at the other property, so it'll be a little bit more difficult to clear this out. But I'm really excited because this is gonna follow along the fence line. The blackberries here on the other side of the fence have also started to push the fence slats down, so we're gonna have to contact the people that own the property behind us to see if we can get this fence line cleared up, because as you can see just by looking behind me, a lot of the trees are starting to push the fence, and that should also give us a little bit more sunlight for the garden here. This one's gonna extend a bit more, and yeah, I have a bunch of space here for plenty of garden beds and plenty of growing, so I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be raining the next few days, so I don't think that I will be able to get more of this done on this video, but the next one for sure I will show you more of how I'm placing this out. But I was so excited that I have a little bit already put out that I wanted to go ahead and show you what I had, and of course I've got lots of plants for the backyard. It's just a process. I was gonna set up my green stock yesterday because it was so beautiful, and I realized I'm actually missing the top part of my green stock. I don't know if it's somewhere in a box in the garage still, or if somehow in the move it accidentally got left behind. But if I can't find it in the next few days, then I'm just gonna order the replacement part. It's the top one, where it's the top basin where you pour your water in so that there's enough water to go through all of the systems. So that's a pretty important part, I think. So I'm not gonna put that one together yet. When we get the rest of those garden staples in, I will be able to go ahead and lay out more of this cardboard, which all of this is all our moving boxes from when we moved. So thankfully I already had this, and we'll see how that goes. Let's go check out the peppers and the tomatoes that we started a few weeks ago. So now we're in my bathroom. My pepper seedlings are here in the bathroom staying warm. It's one of the warmest rooms in the house because I have a radiator style heater in here, and I have it set up under my vanity table so that the peppers get a nice amount of radiant heat. So I have my radiator style heater here underneath my vanity table. It's a glass table, so it's okay if it gets hot. And the stand is an old sewing table, so it's made out of wrought iron. And here is my tray of peppers, and the heat is keeping the waters warm as it soaks up. And we've got a few little baby peppers. Here's my, hold on, let's see if I can get it to focus. These are my Lout Shower paprika peppers popping out of the soil. We also have an Anaheim pepper seedling coming out right here. And back here I see a Sugar Rush peach pepper seedling coming up. So I'm really excited about all of these popping up. I've got a little cayenne pepper over here. We're still waiting on the rest of them to pop up.
It's a little garden, Mom.
Oh, it looks right here.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a little garden.
It is. That's how the little seeds start.
Is there even water?
Uh-huh. All right, I'm back in the living room here. We got the tomatoes set up under the lights here, and I'm gonna go over all the different tomato varieties we got started here. Got a lot more action going on over here than we do on the pepper side. This year's tomatoes are a lot more scaled down than they normally are. Last year I had a bunch of different varieties, especially because I was selling them. I had a whole lot of new varieties that I had never tried before. A lot of them turned out to be some of my new favorites. And so this year I've really condensed the number of tomatoes that I started. I still started way more than I have space for because I plan on giving them to my sisters-in-law and to my mother-in-law to grow. So this year I only have 6 slicer varieties and I only have 3 cherry types started. And I only have 1 new variety for the entire pack of tomatoes for this year. And I also started 3 varieties of eggplants, and that's new for me because I don't really like eggplant. At least I didn't until recently. Last year, I had some homegrown eggplant from my friend Amanda. She is at Ragtag Resilience here on YouTube. I'll link her channel in one of these corners. And at the end of the video, I'll link her again and in the description. But she grew a really delicious variety of eggplant, and I decided I wanted to try to grow them this year. And while I was at it, I grabbed 2 more varieties to try. So let's start with our slicers. This year we're going with the black from Tula. I really like the dark purple tomatoes. They're meaty and deep and rich in flavor, not very acidic. So the black from Tula is always going to be on my list to grow. Another one that is always on my list to grow is the Brandywine Black, which is also one of those deep, dark, purpley, meaty tasting tomatoes. These 2 varieties are both from Emery Gardner. The one that I haven't jumped into yet that I'd really like to try is a black creme tomato. I'm going to probably try and get some for next year, but this year I really wanted to stick with the basics because I have no idea how much space I'm really going to have. So I'm not going to start a whole bunch of brand new things that I don't know if I'll even have space for. The next tomato that I started is the Kellogg's Breakfast, also by M.I. Gardner, also from M.I. Gardner. This one is. It's a beautiful yellow tomato. It's a lot more mild flavored than a regular red tomato. And on that note, I also have the Dr. Wyches or Dr. Witchies, or however you'd like to pronounce that. Also another yellow tomato, and it gets to a pretty good size as well. And they're really great on sandwiches. They're great for fresh slicing salads, on burgers, like really anything that you would use a regular red tomato for is what I would use a yellow and the purple ones for. Now these last 2 are a little bit different. This one's a Thorburns Terracotta. It is a really deep terracotta color, like straight up dark orangey color, and it's got a really unique flavor, somewhere between the mild of a yellow tomato and the richness of a purple tomato. Somehow it's hard to explain, but they are some of the most flavorful tomatoes that I've ever eaten. So they were definitely on my list for this year. And then the last slicer is actually a free seed that I received from Baker Creek last year. It's the white Tomasol tomato, and it has a really creamy, delicate flavor, even more so than a yellow tomato. It's really nice, smooth, and I love adding it in with salads, and I like putting it on sandwiches and just doing tomato sandwiches with a lighter type of flavor. It gives it a nice different variation to the classic tomato sandwich that you would normally eat. So that was another one that I definitely had to have again for this year. Now as for my cherry tomatoes, I did 1 new one and 2 that I've done before. The first one is the yellow plum, which is technically not a cherry, it's a plum shaped, but it's a yellow plum tomato from M.I. Gardner. They're really flavorful, and I like how prolific that these ones are, and I really like a variety in cherry tomatoes, so I definitely had to grow these ones again. The next one is my all-time favorite cherry tomato, black cherry tomatoes. They are the sweetest cherry tomato I have ever grown. They have been my favorite at the top of my list for the last 4 years in a row. So I definitely had to have these again. And then this is the new one for this year. It's the black strawberry tomato. It's actually new for Baker Creek as well. It was one of the new ones for this 2022 year, so I decided to give it a try. Since I like the black cherry tomatoes so much, black strawberry tomatoes definitely piqued my interest, and they look like they're a little bit more almost tie-dyed. If you look at the picture, you can kind of tell that there's like a variation of purple and red and yellows in the skin, and I will attempt to get a much better photo to insert here for you guys to look at, since I'm not doing a very good job at holding up the seed packet. And then for the eggplants, which I've literally never grown before, I wanted to grow eggplant for my mom last year, and I didn't get the seeds started on time. I had never grown it before. I'd never started it from seed, and I didn't realize that it needed to be started as early as my peppers and tomatoes. So by the time I thought, oh, I should grow some eggplant, it was way past the time for actually starting the tomatoes, or for actually starting the eggplants. So I thought, well, let me go see if I can find an eggplant start at our big box store. Could not find any eggplant starts, no matter where I went in our town. So I didn't have eggplant last year, but I was lucky enough to have some from my friend Amanda. And the variety that she gave to me and grew was this Antigua from Baker Creek. And it's a stunning color. It's super delicate in flavor. I really, really enjoyed it stir-fried. And so I had to try it again. And so on that note, I also picked up these Thai lavender frog egg ones. They're about the size of a cherry tomato. We'll see how that goes. I hope they taste good. I don't even know how to cook them, but they're adorable, and I thought, I gotta try that. And then of course the Burpee's Black Beauty. This is what you would normally get in a grocery store when you're going to find eggplant at the store. Okay, so those are all my tomato and eggplant varieties, and we went ahead and already checked on our peppers. So now it's time for me to go have lunch. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while I talked about the tomatoes that we started and the eggplants, which I hope go really well, and for going through my backyard with me. Next time we'll get some more cardboard laid out. We'll take a look and see how the peppers and tomatoes and eggplants are progressing, and maybe we'll put together a green stalk. So I'll see you next time. Bye guys.